right, good morning. Welcome to another battle of regimental fire and fury. We're going back to June 6, 1861. This is 3 days after the Battle of Philippi on the other side of Virginia. When most of the southern states seceded, they grabbed up most of the federal forts within their state. One such fort that was able to resist was Fort Monroe, which was down on the tip of the Virginia Peninsula. And the federal garrison stayed there, and they occupied Newport News as well. And this is what caused this battle. I think it was like 3,000 troops there. They kind of would sally forth into the countryside of Virginia and basically be a nuisance for Virginians. The one time this garrison sallied forth was towards this church, which is going to represent Big Bethel, which is on the way to Yorktown. This battle was actually fought on the same ground as the Battle of Yorktown that won the American independence 80 years before. Quick math on my head, might have got it wrong. I think it was 1781 where Cornwallis surrendered, where Lafayette and Washington kind of got them surrounded there and they gave up. But I believe when the Confederates were digging their defensive works to protect Richmond, Lee was very worried about the troops at Fort Monroe. They dug entrenchments and stuff to protect themselves from these guys moving on Richmond, and they came across a bunch of bones and ammunition cartridges and ammunition and muskets from this Revolutionary War. So they're the Battle of Yorktown, and this is going to be a recreation of that fight, but with a lot more troops involved, and the order of battle is not correct either. I think one of the only commanders that was actually here was John Magruder, who was a colonel at the time. He'll be commanding one of the Confederate brigades. A lot of these other commanders are from the West Virginia campaign, taken mostly from the order of battle from Rich Mountain, which I probably will fight next. This way I don't have to reprint cards and stuff. Because this battle itself was very small. It was Union tried to do a night attack once the Confederates under Magruder had occupied the Big Bethel church, and there was a lot of confusion where only half of the Union forces were given the correct password and told to tie a white band around their arm, and they tried to do a coordinated night movement to do a dawn attack against the position at Big Bethel, and there ended up being a lot of friendly fire. And you'll see this more when I get around to the Battle of Bull Run, where a lot of the state militia wore gray uniforms and the federal troops wore blue. That when they were forming these units, because each state created their own army, a lot of their uniforms were still gray. So I think some of the New York regiments were in gray, so you get yourself some friendly fire incidents, and this continues throughout the early part of the war until at least the Union is able to get some uniformity with their blue uniforms. The nice thing about doing the Battle of Philippi and the Battle of Big Bethel is there's two schools of thought out there with the intelligent Civil War historians, that either one of these could have been the first real land battle of the Civil War. It just depends if you consider the Battle of Philippi a skirmish or not. It probably was, but I've seen when I've done my reading that both of these battles were considered the first land battle. This wasn't, the most when you think of, First Manassas and all the other big battles, it definitely wasn't on the radar. It's just a blip, but there was a bit more fighting compared to Philippi at the original Battle of Big Bethel. I mean, with the Union ended up losing, I think, 74, 75 guys. I think the Confederates only lost like 1 or 2. And I think the one guy they did lose was from North Carolina. It was the first North Carolinian killed in the war. I think one of the first like major officers was killed in this battle too. A Union officer who did a flanking attack against the Confederate positions up at the church was standing on top of an entrenchment, waving on his troops to rally and make one last push to take the position. He was shot right through the chest. So we'll see if that history repeats itself. But this is going to be a much bigger battle, as I said. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 8,000 Union troops against low 7,000 Confederate troops. Confederates are still missing that one last unit to give them their 12th Infantry Regiment, which is going to be the Wheats Tigers, which I've got over on the painting table, but really haven't started yet because been knocking everything out. Big additions to this for me is I got my ammo caissons done, so I don't have to do that workaround that I did before. I think even in the rules they recommend putting an ammunition point, which I probably should have done, but that's still a massive pain in the butt to turn your troops around and go back. But I guess, you know, that's probably more realistic. But now we do have the mobile caissons for each side. This one over here for the Confederacy, and they'll be able to move like wheeled artillery. And if they can get within 12 inches of a target, not a target, but a unit that needs resupply, there you go. We'll also have our first appearance of smoothbore artillery. I got my new Confederate artillery battery painted up in the interim. 12-pound Napoleons, so that should be fun. Both sides will have 2 batteries for artillery. Federals, both of theirs are rifled, and the Confederates have 1 of each. I think there was a huge rifled artillery piece at this battle that the Confederates brought from the Virginia Military Institute, and it did make an appearance at this battle. I think they ordered 12 they were able to get before they seceded from a factory up north, and they had a huge gun that they had in place here at Big Bethel that I think caused the first casualties that weren't, you know, the Union didn't do to themselves when they engaged each other in the middle of the night without knowing the password. This is the main highway going straight up here towards the church, heading towards Yorktown. This, I believe, was called the Mitchell House, where Union sharpshooters did take occupied and were able to put fire on Confederate artillery positions until it was set fire and burned to the ground by a Confederate artillery or a howitzer shell that hit it and blew it to pieces, or burned it to the ground. And the streams, I think it's Wythe Creek. I might pronounce that wrong. It's like Wythe, I think it is. Very shallow in June of 1861. It'll just be rough going to get across it. And instead of having rifle pits, we just got stone fencing up there to show the Confederates have dug in. They did. The Confederates did have some advanced troops out in front. There was also another position, I think, called Little Bethel that they occupied, but they were thrown out of that quickly. Magruder saw how strong the Union force was coming, and he consolidated his troops at Big Bethel for the real attack. But this will be General McClellan against General Lee in a showdown of things to come. After this battle, we'll do Rich Mountain, of course, and then it gets into, like, depending on where you live in the United States, First Manassas or First Bull Run, which I will not be able to do in 28 millimeter. So I will be departing the chronological warfare for a while until I can paint more epic troops from Warlord. I think the Union had like 50 infantry regiments at the battle, and the Confederates had like 30 something. It really depends on how big Hampton Legion is. That was a huge self-contained brigade. I've got to do some more research on it, but they were almost evenly matched. So, but that's I am not going to do that with 28 millimeter. The max we're going to do is 16 regiments per side. So I'll be going back to after Rich Mountain. I'll be going back to my fictional bluegrass campaign, where we'll have some of the commanders, channel members will play the part, and we'll just battle across that map that James built me of this area here in central Kentucky. Did have an extra cavalry guy because I spent 2 horses on each caisson, so I had an extra cavalry left over. So I kind of did like an ensign that'll be with each general, which each C and C. So there's McClellan, and General Lee, who is across the way, are both considered gallant commanders, so they can throw themselves in and get a little bonus. Third Brigade here in front of McClellan is General Morris, which from the Philippi battles, and also you'll see at Rich Mountain on the far left. I think he was a German brigade commander that McClellan had at Rich Mountain, General Schleich, Norman Schleich, or Newton Schleich, I think it was. I can't remember off the top of my head. He has 4 regiments of Union infantry plus a artillery brigade or battery, excuse me, and then a name that most people have heard, General Rosecrans over here on the right. I think he sticks in the Union for a long time. He might even show up at Gettysburg. He's over here on the right. He also has an artillery battery over there on the right. He has 4 infantry regiments. Union is mostly troops from Indiana, Ohio. I think that might be it. These, of course, were mostly in the West Virginian command campaign under because everyone was trying to recruit General McClellan. I think he got offered like 3 commanding general positions at the same time. Ohio, Indiana, and Pennsylvania. Ended up just getting, he stopped, his train stopped in Ohio, and he was on his traveling about. I think he was trying to go to Pennsylvania, but got off the train in Ohio to meet the governor there. And the guy's like, "Hey, you want the job?" And he's like, "I'll take it." And then a telegram came like an hour later, said, "You want to command Pennsylvania's forces?" Where he was really planning on going, but he'd already taken the Ohio command. As I said before, a lot of these forces are also from the Rich Mountain campaign. This is General Pegram up front, who got hosed doing the rearguard action at Rich Mountain. We'll see later. I think on the far right is General Magruder. Pegram also has the Confederate cavalry. Most of these forces are from North Carolina and Virginia. General Garnett is up holding the center here. There is a unit from Georgia here too. I think the 1st Georgia had made their way up to the West Virginian campaign, so that's pretty cool too. We have a little bit of a triple threat of southern states here, and I think that's it. And then General Lee's over here behind the church. He's sitting up here with Magruder's artillery, taking personal command of it, so it doesn't have to do an out of command order, which really isn't a problem for artillery with that +2 bonus they get anyway. So, all right, well, that's it. We'll start a 7 a.m. attack again. It seems to work well for us. I'll probably do some quick math. 30% seemed to be good, which was heavy casualties. With each base being, each figure being 25 guys, each base of 4 being 100, it's kind of sneaky. You'll like remove a base here, remove a base there, and you kind of looks like you're not. It looks like casualties are coming rather slow in this system, as far as I can tell. And also, I think some of you guys could tell just from the comments I got. But when you're wiping out 100 guys at a time, the casualties add up rather quickly, especially if you get into hand-to-hand. You just start wiping out people left and right. I'm going to try something a little bit different for my narrative campaign. It's going to be a little bit bigger, and we'll see if it works. It might actually be better, and just throwing around different ideas to have a little bit of fun with this hobby. And we'll see what happens as the Union will begin their attack against Big Bethel, which might have to call Big Tony's, because Tony Webster gave me this church, so it's St. Anthony's, so we might be calling this Big Tony's every so often. Just to stick with the theme of Big Bethel. But this was Bethel Church. I'm not sure what denomination it was, but that's all right. And there's the Mitchell house. It's got some cornfields over there. These woods will be, just woodsy. Probably cut down command range and visibility. And of course, we've got snake rail fences up front, and then we've got stone fences. And not a lot of hills on this one compared to my usual shenanigans, so it should be fun. All right, gents, hang in there. Here we go. All right, we're immediately going to start off turn one with attaching commanders. None of them are going to attach except for General McClellan. Just too close to General Morris, so he's going to attach himself to him and take personal command. And but he will add a +1 with him being a gallant commander versus everyone else except for General Lee being able. So that'll be the only attachments for the Union, who will go first just because they are the aggressing player. Start over on the right with 2nd Brigade, General Rosecrans, who still has both of his arms. I think he lost his arms pretty quickly, either in the Mexican War or with something else. But he has his 4 infantry brigades in command, which is the 8th Indiana, the 17th Ohio, the 10th Indiana, and the 19th Ohio. No, there won't be a test later. So he'll order all them at 1 to go. These 2 units are moving through the woods, so they'll be going a little bit slower. And then the artillery will get an out-of-command roll. So General McClellan's original orders are for General Rosecrans to move forward and engage the rebel line. Planning on doing the same thing with General Morris, if he can get his troops under control, and then allow the Unions on the left under Schleich to move to the left and try to outflank the rebels. Probably have Morris do some oblique movement to try to extend the line of the rebels and take advantage of their slightly numerical advantage and their artillery superiority, as the Union thinks, which I'm not sure if that's going to be true. With I think smoothbore is going to be devastating with how close this is going to be. Next up, General Morris's brigade, which is 3rd Brigade, with McClellan at the lead. 3rd Brigade moves through the orchard up towards the snake rail fence to get ready to start forming their firing line to engage the rebels in close-range musketry. Successful command by General Morris with the supervision of General McClellan. He also ordered the 3rd Ohio Cavalry to change formation to line and move off to the left, most likely on a flanking mission around the rebel position, try to take Big Bethel. So that is that. I Company, 4th U.S. Artillery, starts loading their 3-inch ordnance rifles, taking a bead on Confederate artillery positions up at Big Bethel. And then General Schleich will also do a left oblique maneuver, or try to at least, and start moving out towards to put pressure on the Confederate right and outflank them. 1st Brigade successfully moves forwards with those 2 regiments moving to the left of the artillery, trying to put pressure on that flank, and his other 2 regiments trying to maintain contact with General Morris in the center. artillery. They're loading some case shot fire. I'm not sure they're going to fire at yet, but we'll see. At the end of 7 o'clock movement, the Union attack, moving forward across all fronts, closing in on the rebel positions. Looking good. We'll take a look from the other side. Coming out of the woods, looking good. Wow. It's starting to look impressive. This was just a skirmish game a couple months ago, so I'm loving it. ACW, baby. Took me a while to get into it, but I love it. Alright, here we go. Defensive fire phase. Union might be sad here in a moment. As Federal troops start emerging from the woods, Confederate muskets crack off, welcoming them to the party all across the line, even where they're coming just straight ahead. Also, rebel artillery pieces open up on them from up at Big Bethel emplacements. Alright, we'll start on the left with Pegram's Brigade. 13th Tennessee opens up on the 19th Ohio. The snake rail fence will provide protection for both sides, as hopefully block some musket balls as it comes on in. The Parrott rifles of Lee's battery, Baker Company, will also join the Tennessee boys as they unload on those Union troops. The 19th Ohio and the 10th Indiana are buckled by that fire, both becoming disordered. 19th Ohio loses a chunk of men, losing one stand from that blast. Wow, that's a heck of a good start. Virginia Peninsular Campaign. Next in line, the 11th Tennessee firing ahead at the Union, still in the trees. An ineffective blast from that Tennessee unit as most of the bullets kill squirrels in the trees and have no real effect on Union forces closing in. 7th Tennessee blasts away at the 9th Indiana Zouaves forces almost at point blank range. Snake rail fence will provide a little bit of cover as these boys go toe to toe with each other. A little bit of panic in the ranks as most of their shots fly high, missing. The Confederate artillery piece, the smoothbore, can't fire at the first Zouave unit, but due to their elevated position, they will fire at the people behind them, try to take out that Zouave unit coming out of the trees. Confederate artillery from those 12-pound Napoleons explodes in the trees, causing confusion on the ranks of the 13th Indiana, disordering them. The boys from the 11th Virginia engage the 6th Indiana at close range over this snake rail fence. That results in a lively fire, having no effect on the boys from Indiana as they close in on them. A little bit of panic here at the possibly the first battle of the Civil War. The boys of the 3rd Virginia will unload a long volley against these boys from Indiana as they come out of that cornfield. The volley from the 3rd Virginia is able to stagger the boys from the 14th Indiana as they make their way through the cornfield to approach the end of the rebel end of the rebel line. That's all they got, though. That's the first volley. That ends defensive fire phase as the Union prepares to they lower their muskets to fire back at the rebels. Union musketry returns the favor against rebel positions after receiving their volley. Trying to do unto others. I didn't mention it before. The really only key position is the Big Bethel Church. But yeah, so they take that spot right there. Sorry, General Garnett is sitting. That'll be that is the key position. The Parrott rifles of I Company, 4th U.S. Artillery, along with this disordered regiment from Indiana, fire at the boys from Tennessee, trying to suppress them to allow them to continue to move forward as soon as possible. That's the 19th Ohio, I apologize, firing at the 13th Tennessee. Combined blast from the artillery and the volley fire from the Ohio troops was able to cause a galling fire against the boys from Tennessee, disordering them. 8th Indiana volleying from the edge of the tree line against the 11th Tennessee. They complete an ineffective volley, having no effect on the boys from Tennessee. Sliding down the line, we get to the Zouaves from Indiana at close range against these boys. 9th Indiana versus the 7th Tennessee. I forgot there was so many Tennessee boys here. Causing galling fire to those boys from Tennessee, disordering them. No significant casualties though. Get the same thing as the 6th Indiana volleys across the snake rail fence at the boys from Virginia. The 11th Virginia stagger back, suffering casualties from that massive volley from the boys from Indiana who've got some extra range time. 37th Virginia also suffers from the effect as bullets come flying through and hit their ranks. Both regiments disordered by that heavy volley from the Indiana. The final volley will be the first from Schliess's boys as the 14th Indiana and Baker Company with their 3-inch ordnance rifles unload into those gentlemen on the other side of the snake rail fence. A volley from Schliess's regiment combined with the artillery having no effect on that 3rd Virginian regiment as the rounds land all around them, completely unfazed. These boys they're ready for it. Alright, that ends Union phase, turn 1. We're going to flip over to Rebel turn 1 and let them do their thing. We've already had 200 casualties, killed or wounded. So we've already surpassed the original casualty count by a million from the original Battle of Big Bethel. Starting with Pegram, he is in range for his 3 infantry regiments. The cavalry over here on the left will be out of command. He has 2 of his regiments are disordered, looking to get them back into fighting shape here and get these boys to get all crazy and do some rebel yells to hold off the Union a push. Pegram's able to rally all 3 of his infantry regiments as they stride up against the fence, resting their musket barrels against it. They will now have the advantage of the fence until the Union gets up and touches against it as well, which will probably be a hand-to-hand time, but they will not be paying a penalty to shoot over it, except for they will still paying the penalty to fire into the trees. But Pegram successfully rallies and moves forward and gets even closer to the Union. Out of command, the 14th Virginia. Let's see what they do. These cavalry. The flank's looking good. They're going to try to take that artillery position. The 14th Virginian cavalry moves out of their position, the trees on the far left of the Confederate line, moving forward, preparing to threaten the Union artillery as well as the Union right flank. 1st Brigade under Magruder, he's going to try to get his act together again. He's got 2 disordered regiments and also has artillery battery out of command. Boy, if they're not out of command, Lee is attached to that artillery battery. Magruder's wheeling and dealing as the 11th Virginia does a left oblique move against the fence. 37th Virginia does a wheel to the right, starts moving to occupy the space opened up by the 3rd Virginia moving forward against the fence line, and the 9th Virginia wheeling right and getting clogged up in the dried out stream over here, but trying to be aware of the Union flanking maneuver. They're not going to get there on time. These guys might get some blasts into the flank of the 3rd Virginia as they move forward. General Lee will get a +3 as he commands the Magruder's artillery, which is Lee's battery, Charlie Company. Reloading those smoothbores to fire more explosive rounds into the forest, trying to slow down the Union second line. And General Garnett be able to order all 4 of his infantry brigades in command, but then his B company of his artillery will be out of command move. We're going to hold position with the infantry, now the out of command artillery, but they will get a +2 because they're artillery. General Garnett's troops hold firm in position where they are at Big Bethel as we look across after the Confederates start counter moving to the Union advance. Alright, defensive fire phase coming at you. Disordered 19th Indiana to fire alone, just too close for artillery support. The guns will turn their attention towards the actually now I'm going to check and see if that cavalry might be out of arc. They'll go ahead and do counter battery fire for a round against the Confederate rifled artillery up there on the hill. Alright, so we'll get a disordered volley from these gentlemen. 19th Ohio still struggling with disorder, unable to put together a decent volley to slow down the Tennessee boys that have now taken up control of the fence. After checking their arc of fire, I Company of the 4th U.S. Artillery will fire a blast at the oncoming Confederate cavalry from Virginia. They fire a withering blast at those horses, just turning them into hamburger. They will go low ammo as it's just so much fire. We'll be rolling the case on from over there, trying to get over here and resupply these guys. He's over there in the trees. Yep, the arc of fire was intact. Let's see the effect of the Virginia cavalrymen. 30% of the Virginian artillery are cut down by a hail of cannon shot from that 4th U.S. Artillery. They're slaughtered totally. Oh, it's just an absolute disaster. They're disordered, and 8th Indiana fire a volley from the trees against the Virginians who've taken up, well, actually going to be from Tennessee, sorry, who have taken up position against the snake rail fence. The volley staggers back the Virginian, I keep saying Virginians, but the boys from Tennessee, no casualties, but they are definitely feeling the effects. Pilgrims sitting there screaming at them, trying to get their act together. Right next door on their right flank, we're going to get some Indiana Zouaves firing at point-blank range against these boys from Tennessee. Anxiety mounts as they're unable to do an effective volley against the Confederates. They might pay the penalty for that in a few minutes as the Confederates start lowering their guns to blast them back. Time for the disordered 6th Indiana to fire at the 11th Virginia from point-blank range. The fence will not matter on this bad boy. They blast them, causing a casualty, disordering them. Oh, it's horrible for those Virginians. 14th Indiana is going to try to fire at this Virginia unit. Bit of a range, but they're going to let the other guys concentrate on the boys to their right. No effect on those gentlemen. The Virginians love it. I did screw up and fire the 3rd Virginians too fast. We'll have to skip them in the offensive fire phase, but let's go ahead and take care of them getting wiped out by these gentlemen here. We'll get a fearsome barrage from Gulf Company of the 4th U.S. Artillery Battery and the 6th Ohio firing into the flank of the 3rd Virginia. The 3rd Virginia takes heavy casualties, becoming disordered. The 9th Virginia also becomes disordered because of the massed effect being so close as rounds come right through those guys and hit into this regiment. Oh, that'll end the Union defensive fire phase. We go into Confederate offensive fire phase. Always a good time. 13th Tennessee hammers into the 10th Ohio, I believe it is, with a close range volley. Oh, it's the 19th Ohio. Oh, the 19th Ohio is already disordered, so they take a casualty. That's not good. The disordered 11th Virginia gonna fire into the trees against that Indiana regiment. Oh yeah.
No effect at all on that blast. Moving down the line, 7th Tennessee going to unload into that Indiana Zouave unit. Oh, they strike out big time. No hits. Baker Company, with their rifled artillery pieces, going to go counter battery style against the Union artillery after they see their cavalry get turned into hamburger meat. That battery from the 4th U.S. Artillery is absolutely pounded as one gun is destroyed. The troops are, the gun crews are scattered as they just take off running in all directions, try to save themselves as they're watching their comrades get blown to bits. And they have a gun silenced also, so they're in trouble. The wounded 6th Virginia firing at the 11th Indiana, I believe it is, right? No, it's the 11th Virginia firing against the 6th Indiana. Virginians took casualties last volley from the boys from the Union troops trying to return the favor, causing galling fire and stunning the 6th Indiana. The 3rd and the 37th Virginia are going to combine fire on this unit here. General Magruder's waving his arms, calling for the ammunition truck. They got to get out there. He's really proud of his boys from Virginia as the 27th and the 3rd unload, blowing away 200 guys. Ouch! I forgot with the mass target rule, the telling fire that these guys suffer goes through and does also like withering fire to these gentlemen, disordering them and also removing a casualty. 300 Union troopers fall on their advance towards Big Bethel. General Lee orders the 12-pound Napoleons to fire explosive rounds into the woods over the heads of the 13th Indiana. Those rounds fail to make contact with trees, or they put the fuses in wrong. They explode way on the far side, having no effect. That'll bring the 7 o'clock hour to a completion as we move on to 7:15, where the Union will take back the initiative. All right, we're only 15 minutes into this disaster. Rosecrans gonna try to keep this party rolling. He's got to try to. These guys on the right are jacked. All right, he's got his 4 infantry battalion or regiments in command. A couple of them are disordered. All right, so this is kind of a mess. The 19th Ohio doesn't have any modifiers, so it will rally, retreat out of close range, and then return to good order. And then so they have to move out of close range, so they'll actually come back this way and pass through them. When you pass through a unit, you disorder it. But these guys are in the process of rallying, and the wording on this one is retreat out of close range and then return to good order. So they're disordered right now. They'll fall back through these guys. These guys are disordered right now. They're in the process of getting undisordered because they have a +2 modifier, so they will be rally with the lawn. So I'm going to say they can't get a tardy move. The 10th Ohio, the 19th Ohio will pass through them. They'll both return to good order. But I say the 10th Indiana will sacrifice its tardy move. The 8th Indiana will charge the 11th Tennessee, and the 17th Ohio will move forward, support the boys from Indiana. Be a straight up charge. The Tennessee boys are disordered and don't have any supports, so this could be a good move. All right, for the last part of Rosecrans' order phase, he's got his artillery out here that's all messed up. A wreck gun and low ammo, and they're gonna try to rally. All right, those guys rally. McClellan's decided this infantry unit is more important, so the artillery is gonna resupply them this turn. and then go over to the, I guess if they didn't have the wreck gun, they probably would have gone to them next, but oh well. So they still have a wreck gun, so they're going to fire at half firepower, and they still have their low ammo, so they're going to fire at 25%. All right, McClellan is still is attached to Morris, so we're going to get a +1 gallant. He can't command his cavalry; they're too far away. But all of the infantry will get a +3, I think, and the artillery will move forward the caisson to resupply that front infantry regiment. And the 6th and the 10th Indiana are both disordered, so woo! And that's a rookie move by me. I'm going to have the artillery go over, and I'm going to put it way over here. I'm going to see if I can get that far, first of all. It can only move the speed of a limbered artillery piece. No, it's going to stay there because moving through the woods would make it difficult. It moves as a horse artillery piece. These guys are disordered, so they're going to get the best they can get as a tardy move, so they cannot resupply ammunition this turn. But by the time they got to that gun, it'll be a while. So they're going to go ahead and stay where they are, and they'll resupply them next turn. But we got a rally with a lawn, and the 2 units that aren't disordered could do double time, but there's no point moving. They're going to maintain formation. And the low ammo on the 6th Indiana will persist. You know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to try a passage of lines. They might step back because they can do a tardy move. Let me see if that's possible with a tardy move. And these guys will step forward. There was enough room for the 7th Indiana to pass through the 6th Indiana, so now they can hopefully get replenished with ammunition next turn. Alright, that happened at least. Let's go on to Morris's cavalry, the 3rd Ohio, out of command. The 3rd Ohio does a well-handled maneuver with a slight wheel, and they are moving down the line, heading towards the flank, to extend the Union flank to the left. Confederates are already in trouble trying to keep up with this. Alright, Schleisch has got everything in 12 inches. He's got his 2 disordered, for the 14th Indiana, the 15th Indiana, and then he's got the 6th Ohio and the 3rd Ohio on his left, along with his 4th U.S. Artillery Brigade. The 14th Indiana is in trouble because they are worn. So they're going to have no modifier for their rally. Alright, the end of Union movement. 3rd Ohio, they kind of did a left oblique and kind of slogged their way into Weiss Creek. 6th Ohio also slogged their way into the creek, making a right wheel. Artillery held strong. 15th Indiana did a left oblique and moved up and engaged them. 14th Indiana did a right oblique, allowing the 15th Indiana to get into this fight. You already saw the 7th Indiana doing a passage of line with the 6th Indiana. Those gentlemen held firm, did not move. We got a charge over here by the 8th Ohio with the 17th Ohio coming with them. And then we had a unintentional passage of line with the 19th Ohio and the 10th Indiana, as the 19th Indiana had to retreat out of close range. The 4th U.S. Artillery Battery India Company, they were able to get one of their guns back online, but they're still having ammunition problems. So that is the end of movement phase for the Union, turn 2. We'll get defensive fire phase now as the Union working on taking this flank. 4 companies of the disordered 9th Virginia, maybe 5, will be able to fire at the which unit's that one? It's Ohio unit, the 6th Ohio. They're over 12 inches. They are disordered, so they're going to be at 25%. This is going to slice and dice it pretty badly. Volley has no effect on those boys from Ohio who are closing in on their flank. Oh, no bueno. Alright, 3rd Virginia basically just fighting across the fence versus that unit from Indiana. They're disordered and low on ammo, so they're going to be firing at 25%. I'll have no effect for those gentlemen. Slide over to another low ammunition unit for the Virginians, the 37th. They're going to fire at that buckled down unit that kind of stepped up to the fence. They're at close range, but the boys from Indiana are closer to the fence than they are, so they'll get a -1 to that one. So that'd just be a -1 total. And I totally lied. With the low ammo, that'll be a -3 to this roll. Magruder wants that ammunition up here. Stat. Pronto. He's got all kinds of regiments that need loving. And that'll have no effect. Right side of the Confederacy struggling here at Big Bethel. Disordered 11th Virginia firing across the bridge. They only got 4 bases. Oh! Whole right side of the battlefield in trouble. Not going well. Alright. The boys from Virginia are struggling. And I thought I had North Carolina units in this. I don't have a single North Carolina unit. I've got a Georgia, a bunch of Virginias, and a bunch of Tennessees. So North Carolina boys are on vacation. So I forgot. That's my fault to all you North Carolina people. There actually was units from North Carolina here at Big Bethel, and I left them out. On accident. I brought some Tennessee people. I love Tennessee. It's a great state to visit. All right, 7th Tennessee. Volley is galling fire on 9th Indiana, disordering them. They're staggered a little bit, but the massed effect is lively fire behind them to the 13th Indiana, which has no effect. Oh, they are disordered now. It's like, were they disordered already? But they weren't. So if you have a casualty for galling fire, you take an extra. I mean, if you have a disordered and you get galling fire, you take a casualty, but they do not. All right, the 11th Tennessee with General Pegram sitting right there, trying to stop the charge of the 6th Indiana coming at them. No effect. Charge home. You will see those boys coming at the end of the turn. And on the far left of the Confederate line, 13th Tennessee firing at a new unit, still within 12 inches. So, they actually don't have disorder or anything either, so that's good. This side of the Confederate line is doing decently. It doesn't matter because I'm rolling like absolute butt. Oh, wow. That's terrible. Let's drop back. Low on ammo, Baker Company of Lee's battery. We're going to try to finish off these gentlemen who they're already crushed. They're only going to get a boom. We can't go anywhere low ammo than they already are, so they wail on them. They destroy the other artillery piece out there. Once you get 2 wrecked guns, you are done. So the U.S. Artillery Company is out of the battle. All their guns are destroyed. So all that would be all 4 cannons, because each gun is equal to 2. They're destroyed, and the troopers take off running. Rosecrans, out of the right side of his eye, looks over in dismay as his artillery is absolutely destroyed. Sorry about your luck. 10th Indiana, they're on the front line now. They're going to blast away with, they have no effect at all in the 13th Tennessee. We'll come back to the 8th Indiana at the end for the charge. Going to the 9th Indiana, who are disordered. They're going to be able to put together no effect on those gentlemen. They love it. Just too tough. All right, moving over here is everyone's. This is where the Rebels' problems start to go exponentially wrong. All right, 7th Indiana is going to blast into these already beat down Virginians in front of them who are disordered. That causes galling fire on the 11th Virginia, who's already disordered, so they lose a casualty. They lose a company of men. 14th Indiana going to fire on the 37th Virginia across the fence. Oh, that has no effect at all. All right, the 6th Ohio and the 15th Indiana are both going to combine fire on the 3rd Virginia. This will be outflanked and all the fun stuff. The 13th Virginia, or sorry, no, the 3rd Virginia suffers telling fire. They get 2 companies blown away. The 9th Virginia, with the massed effect, they suffer telling fire and they lose a company. So just 300 guys wiped out just like that from those 2 companies enfilading them. The U.S. Artillery Golf Company is going to try to take out the smoothbore Napoleon that's harassing the what's it called? It's Zouaves in the woods straight ahead. It's still dug in pretty well, so it's going to be a tough shot. So it'll be a -2 modifier to these guns as they blast away into those dug in smoothbores. Oh, I do have a North Carolina unit. All right, the bounce through from wrecking one gun there and silencing another also disorders the 1st North Carolina with the mast effect. Beautiful. What great shooting by the U.S. Artillery there. Those guys are they've been doing geometry overtime. That'll end the turn 2 for the Union as we get into turn 2 for the Rebels. Going to start off with Garnett. He's going to get the ammo train out there rolling out to Magruder. Also try to rally his 1st North Carolina. Might also send out some companies to support this disaster, or maybe let them fall. But I don't know. It's just going horribly wrong out there. Might be time for these boys to start falling back. He's able to rally the 1st North Carolina. He's able to move the ammo truck way out there. They do pretty good. They get a 36-inch move. And then he gets the 21st Virginia to right step and do a little hooky dookie. Get over there and face that direction. He's got a Baker Company of Lee's Battery out of command order now. They only get a tardy move. They're not going to be firing this turn as they pivot. Start looking for other people to fire at. Alright, Magruder's in trouble. He needs to rally some boys and start doing something. It's not looking good. The only thing he doesn't have is disorders the 37th Virginia, so they're going to be looking to reload. As far as I tell, you can't move backwards. You can face by the rear flank and then march backwards, but it takes a full move to basically turn around. They're going to get shot in the back, like massively. Yeah, I don't see much way for these guys to extricate themselves from this disaster, barring just taking a beating and getting forced to retreat, which might be what's going to happen. The 37th Virginia is able to resupply. They're no longer low on ammo. Everybody else rallies, but yeah, the 3rd Virginia and the 11th Virginia are, they're both worn, borderline moving to spent here in a minute. And do you send out someone out there to help them out? I don't know. Maybe it's not the best idea. Loving little war wagon guy bringing out the ammo. What a boss. MVP time. All right, so we got a final one to do. Is home slice over here on the left. Pegram with his Tennessee boys. He's got one unit to rally, and then the other 2 are in command and doing good. His cavalry is out of command and beat down after getting minced. At least those guns are incinerated now. The Lee's battery took care of them. And I'm going to hold up right there because I forgot to do the charge. Okay, so I'm not even going to count that roll. I rolled a 4, but because this could be a whole new world here in a second when these guys go slamming through them. I totally forgot we had a charge going on. Alright, so moonwalk your way back in time, and let's see what happens as these boys go hand to hand. Union's got supports too, so it's going to be ugly. Alright, the Rebels are defending favorable ground with that snake rail fence. I did not say I was charging with cold steel, so the 8th Indiana will fire. So they blow a guy away on the way in with telling fire. They were disordered. There's no one behind them for the mass effect. So it's still going to be a 2-to-1 for the Union. Both sides are fresh. The Confederates are disordered but have favorable ground. So it's a hard-pressed victory for the 8th Indiana. They forced the Tennessee guys back 3 inches. They remain disordered and they lose a stand because they were disordered. So another company falls. And now we'll roll Pegram's roll for his unit for the turn 2 movement and order phase. Pegram's able to rally 11th Tennessee. They get a tardy move. They move back to the wall after rallying with Elan. The other 2 Tennessee regiments keep it together. They're in great shape. All that's left is the 14th Virginia Cavalry, out of command and disordered and half minced. They get it together and move 14 inches out to the left now that there's no artillery. See if the Union going to do anything about that. That'll end order and movement phase, turn 2 for the rebels. Now we'll do defensive fire phase. Love the Confederates, love that. Start off with the 10th Indiana firing against the snake rail fence, which is probably getting incinerated with all the shooting. I guess there's bodies piled up in it now too, so maybe it's a bit more robust. They hit the 13th with a crushing volley, blowing away a company of men. The boys from Indiana go low on ammunition, but they also disordered the Tennessee troops. What a blast. They're already low on ammunition, but won the firefight. 8th Indiana fires again on the 11th Tennessee, trying to kill a few more of them. It's going to be -1 as they're both on the fence line. No effect. Sliding to the Union left, disordered Zouaves. Confederates are dominating the fence line. They're not quite on it, so no effect. All right, the 7th Indiana is going to try to destroy what's left of the 11th Virginia. And they might have done it as they move down to spent. They lose more casualties. The Confederacy has passed over the 1,000 casualty mark now for the battle. It's getting savage. And yeah, it's not looking good. The 14th Indiana will fire into the 37th Virginia, having no effect. Magruder's like, come on, you're my last group of guys that aren't killed. Actually, he's a second. These gentlemen over here, these guys, the 3rd Virginia, they're not looking good at all. They're about to get smoked again by this enfilading disaster. They'll do it again, a double-time volley of goodness against those gentlemen. The brave 3rd Virginia just getting sliced to pieces. They're just that is bloody lane. I mean, they have lost 590 men. It is just no, just 500 men. Sorry. Right now they're at 90%, almost casualties. It's just not going good for the home team. They've got the last couple guys just trying to pick up guns that are, hopefully they find them loaded and they can shoot off a dead body. 4th U.S. Artillery going to fire another barrage at the Confederate gun, hoping to crush it. Before I do that, I forgot to roll for Lee on their order phase because he's in personal command of those guns. They'll be a +3 to see if they rally. They do rally off the silenced gun, but it's not looking good for the home team. This barrage coming in across the battlefield with the rifled artillery. He lands lively fire on those guns, silencing the artillery once again. Lee's going to have to try to give a pep talk to those gunners. They are checking their insurance policies. That ends the defensive fire phase. And now what's left of the rebels, going to try to kill some Union boys. They don't like those Federals. We'll start over here on the left. To Tennessee. 13th Tennessee firing into the woods. No effect on those boys from Indiana. Sliding over to the 11th Tennessee. They're just blasting each other from point blank range here. Not looking good for the home team. They were able to disorder the 8th Indiana. So that's not bad. All right, sliding on down on the line. 7th Tennessee firing on the disordered 9th Indiana, the Zouaves, who haven't been able to make any traction at all. They're not not making a name for themselves. They're supposed to be all elite. Zouaves remained disordered and suffered casualties. Oh, wow. Come on, baby. 7th Virginia fires off some pea shooters at these gentlemen from Indiana. Not good. It does absolutely nothing. All right, now we got the fully armed and operational 37th Virginia. It's all Magruder's got. He's going to cut loose on 14th Indiana that's holding the fence line. Oh, they totally choke. No effect. They really needed that. Just give up Richmond right now. And the 9th Indiana holding the creek bed will fire straight ahead at the 8th Ohio. They blast through them. The mass target causes them to become disordered. The 3rd Ohio. 6th Ohio suffers casualties and becomes disordered. Oh, finally, the proud Confederate shooting there. Artillery pieces. One is silenced and one moved and cannot shoot. So that ends turn 2. Not looking good for the home team. All right, you got Union troops taking their right flank. Cavalry moving around the side. Their rebels are on this side of the battlefield. Besides the 37th Virginia, who don't know how to shoot, are in trouble. Might have some routes coming this turn. And over here, a little bit of a stalemate. That's kind of what we wanted. Hoping to do some more casualties, but that's, not too bad. The boys from Tennessee are holding strong. And now we've got some Virginia cavalry, what's left of it, moving out to the Union flank. So, all right, here we go. As the Confederate artillery having problems, especially as this rifled artillery piece is coming here and blasting away at them. But at least they were able to take out one artillery battery from the Union. Okay, we'll see you at 7:30.
All right, 30 minutes into the attack so far. McClellan, he's sending riders out to the left. He wants a breakthrough. His delaying action and his hold in the center is working. He is concerned he's lost his artillery on the right. Wants to finish off the Confederate artillery guns in the center so he can begin his attack. But he wants this breakthrough on the left, and he can feel it. So let's see what he can do now. Starting off on the Union right, Rosecrans just caught the Virginia cavalry out of the corner of his eye. He's like, oh heck no. So yeah, he's got to do something different here. He's gonna see what he can do maneuver command wise, so his units can get done, so he can prepare for this cavalry charge approaching on the right. So he hits a CNC home run, rolling a 10. Oh, outstanding. No bonus for that. Let's see what these boys can do. Probably get back charging again. So the 10th Indiana marched by the flank, extending a Union line out to the right. The trees are blocking it. The 19th Ohio moved in to fill that gap. They remain low on ammunition on the far right. The 8th Indiana and the 17th Ohio charged again to meet them in melee one more time, and Rosecrans kind of moved up and be supportive. So that's what we got over here with Rosecrans with what brigade? See, 2nd Brigade, and the 8th Indiana charged with cold steel. So yes, that should be fun. All right, McClellan is still attached to Morris's 3rd Brigade. And try to get some crazy action here. He does have, I think he has some disordered units. Yes, the 9th Indiana on the front right is disordered. So I know we still got a low ammunition situation over here, but we do have, we're in place to resupply. Out of frustration, the 9th Indiana, who's supposed to be all elite, they charge. They're going to fire on the way in. against this unit here from Tennessee. Their supporting unit, the 13th Indiana, goes with them, so they should be able to outnumber them. And McClellan does the same thing over here with their blood gets up when they see these guys go in. So the 7th Indiana charges what's left of those gentlemen, and they're supported by the 6th Indiana. There's also they didn't really have to move, and they're still in support range. They were able to resupply with ammo just sitting there. They continue their tardy move after tardy move with this meandering flanking maneuver that might take forever. They're not going to get over there until about 9 o'clock. This battle might be over by the time they get there. But yeah, that's the end of McClellan. Now we move out here to Schleich with 1st Brigade. He's up in the thick of it. He's got some disordered units to his left and buckling units to his right, trying to keep us together. But he's up against a very annihilated unit from Virginia that's down to about 6 guys with muskets. It's like quicksand out here on the left as the 3rd and 6th Ohio keep slogging their way through this swamp. But moving forward ever so slowly into the Confederate right. Right here, the 15th Indiana charges with cold steel against what's left of that Virginia unit. And then the 14th Indiana engages in close range musketry again with this unit. Baker Company loading shot gonna go against Lee's artillery up there again, trying to knock them out of business. Starting the Confederate defensive fire phase, Baker Company of Lee's battery, they've got nothing to shoot at. The Union is basically pushed up against all of the Confederates. Nothing's farther than 12 inches, making it a safe shot. So you can't just randomly shoot at commanders, so I don't think you can, at least. And that's out of their range over there. The other thing they could probably shoot at would be, no, that's a charge, would be the cavalry or the other artillery, but they can't get an angle on them. We'll start on the far left of the Confederate front line. The 13th Tennessee, who is disordered, will fire straight ahead into those gentlemen that just stepped up to meet them. They fire off a massive volley at the 13th Ohio, staggering them, causing casualties, disordering the unit. It's so amazing. These guys, the Tennessee boys, figure out they're low on ammo now. It was some great shooting, causing trouble for them both, but these gentlemen are now disordered and have lost another stand. The 11th Tennessee is trying to stop a charge with cold steel, fire into the boys from Indiana coming at them. The 11th Tennessee fires a thunderous blast into the 8th Indiana, checking their charge. They get tangled up in the fence. They're not able to come forward anymore. Oh! They lose casualties. They become disordered. The fire is so intense that the 17th Ohio also comes disordered in the mess. Wow. Boys from Tennessee are doing phenomenal here. Alright, another Tennessee unit. This time firing a full volley into the charging Zouaves, trying to stop them cold. They are not able to replicate that. Just only generating lively fire. A little bit of panic as they come on in. The charge will happen. Over here, at least. What's left of the 11th Virginia will try to stop this charge here. They're just too dang tired. They can't do anything to the Union as they come on in over the fence and just start stabbing them with bayonets. 37th Virginia will fire into these Union troops they've been shooting at for a while. These boys are resupplied with ammo now, so they're ready to go. They might have got some dud ammo and powder. No effect on those Union troopers. What's left of the 3rd Virginia will fire a -4 volley at these Union guys as they come over the fence to finish them off. No effect as they come on in, and then the final volley is going to be from the 9th Virginia against these boys from Ohio. Yeah, it should be a good shot. Able to disable the 6th Ohio Infantry Regiment. Having problems in the mud. But yeah, there we go. That's all they're able to do this turn. So now it goes to offensive fire phase. The low on ammo 10th Indiana and the disordered 19th Ohio combined fire against these gentlemen on the fence line. With those guys from Tennessee already being in a state of disorder, they take some casualties from that barrage and remain disordered. With their charge being checked, the 8th Indiana just kind of fires a disorganized volley off at those boys from Tennessee. Kind of stunned, they got crushed by them. At least they were able to disorder them. The 9th Indiana charging without cold steel. Sorry, they fire their muskets as they go in on the charge against these boys. The last unit from Tennessee. It's just a bloodbath in there, baby. Let's get it. And it ends up being the mother of all volleys as they do heavy casualties on the Virginians, disordering them, and then meeting them with the bayonet. Oh, this could be the decider right here, baby. They have supports too. The barrage is so ferocious, though. The 9th Indiana does go low on ammo. So, next stop for the ammo train. It's got to work its way down the line. 7th Indiana discharge their muskets as they charge in against those boys from Virginia. No effect, but the charge will still happen. 10th, what is it? Sorry about that. 14th Indiana firing straight ahead at the 37th Virginia. These guys got to be running low on ammo. They've been shooting each other for a while. I think they're just tired of holding their muskets up in the air. That has no effect too. That unit charged in cold steel against what's left of those Virginians. And then we get the mudbound 6th Ohio firing into the 9th Virginia. These boys have been slugging at it for a while as well. Those Virginians saved themselves by disordering those boys from Ohio, because that volley would have shredded a lot more casualties if it would have come in at full effect instead of being a disordered volley. They lose a couple gentlemen. They also become disordered. These guys are just tired. They're in the mud. They're getting bit by mosquitoes. They're getting shot to pieces. It's just not going well. They're about to get their flanks kicked in here in a second. Last offensive firepower is the U.S. 4th Artillery 3-inch ordnance rifles firing shots at the smoothbore of Lee's 4th Artillery. Sorry, Lee's Charlie Company, or C Company, whatever you want to say. They're already in trouble. Oh no! Union artillery destroys the Confederate artillery up there at Big Bethel. They also disorder the unit behind them. Oh, General Lee, some cannonballs just miss him. So that's the end of the offensive fire phase. Now we go into the charge phase. Won't forget it this time. We'll start down here with this massacre as the 15th Indiana goes up against what's left of the 3rd Virginia. It's going to be +3 for the Union versus -5 for the Johnny Reb. Good luck, gentlemen. The 3rd Virginia is swept from the field. They are crushed under the boots of the 15th Indiana. They scramble over that snake rail fence, or what's left of it at least. They are disordered as they charge into the flank of the 9th Virginia in a breakthrough charge. Oh, wow. And they're, unfortunately for the 9th Virginia, they're just disordered from that volley from the 3rd, or was that the 6th Ohio? That might not work out in their favor. More combat. Let's do it, baby. This will end up being +2 versus -2 as the Union gets the breakthrough, and then the Confederates suffer for being outflanked. Oh, Schleich is pumped. He knows a promotion is coming his way as he's riding the backs of the 15th Indiana, who crushes the 1st unit from Virginia, charges into the 2nd unit of Virginia, driving them back, causing casualties. They're pushed out of close range. They carry the ground. It's an absolute massacre over here, as the only thing slowing them down now is the mud and the swamp and the malaria. Get some chemoprophylaxis over here. These boys are in trouble. Magruder is freaking out. He just found himself on the front line. He's about to get his entire flank is collapsed. He has not done any favors for
for General Lee. Oh, on to Richmond, buddy. It's all your fault. Our last charge is the 9th Indiana attacking against these gentlemen here. The Tennessee boys will get... they were both against the fence line, so there's no favorable ground. They're just gonna... the Zouaves will get support, while the Tennessee boys won't. In a Big Ten SEC matchup, the Vols fall back in dismay, losing casualties in front of the Hoosiers. Oh, the Zouaves carry the position in a hard-pressed victory. Both those regiments become disordered as they cross over the snake rail fence, but the already disordered and continue to be disordered volunteers fall back 3 inches before them as they drive them back towards the Big Bethel. And that completes the Union turn 3, going on to Confederate turn 3. They need to do something pretty stat as their right flank collapses. Their center starting to collapse. Oh, it's not looking good. Oh, do I have a charge there too? I think I do. Oh, don't tease me, Tito. Here we go. I got another charge. Forgot about this one. 7th Indiana, fully formed and operational against the disordered and beat up 11th Virginia. This is going to be bad. 11th Virginia is run down and destroyed. What's left surrenders as the 7th Indiana and 6th Indiana cross over the snake rail fence, becoming disordered, but just in bloodlust, charge into the flank of these gentlemen. Magruder is freaking out. He knows he's about to lose his arm again. Oh no! McClellan and Morris are just screaming like wild men. Kill him, baby! Stomp him into the ground! 37th Virginia, with their commander, General Magruder, pushed back, driven back at a close range. The Indiana boys take the ground. Oh, Magruder's guys are also disordered. Now his entire, what's left of his brigade are in shatters. They're tattered, but they're back there behind the swamp water. They're falling back everywhere except over here on the left, which they're about to get surrounded and cut off if they don't. Alright, now that ends Union turn 3 as we move into Confederate turn 3, where we got some serious soul searching to do. I gotta do some reading, see if there's any rules on broken brigades or not. I can't remember if there is any. Okay, well there is a second line at Big Bethel, so but they're gonna get zapped by artillery if they don't get their act together. Alright, General Lee's got some issues here. Boys are broken on the right, broken in the center, somehow holding on the left. That's not going to last long. Alright, see what he can do. We'll start off with Pegram. He's got everything he's got is disordered, and these guys are actually out of command now. They're too far away. Pegram ends up with a wavering result on his 2 units in command. They were disordered, trying to rally. So they stay disordered. They fall back out of close range. Which, probably not a terrible result, but yeah. That's what we get for that one. These guys are out of command over here. So let's see what Pegram can do with them. Those gentlemen retreat broken. They got on the road and they're running back down here to Yorktown. Not so good. Final thing for Pegram's is cavalry. See what they can do out of out of command. Let's use the right words here, Steve. Get it together. Oh, getting ready to launch a charge. They changed formation into line. Let's see all they got was a tardy move there. Magruder's got 2 things left. Not looking good. He is going to dispatch the artillery caisson back to the artillery with Lee. Those 2 units both were able to rally. They kind of shuffled to the left to just get a little bit closer to the center of the Confederate secondary line. And last up, General Lee is attached himself to General Garnett and going to offer a +1 to his brigade. Technically, the 21st Virginia is not in command. They shuffled around a little bit, and we'll still have to do the 21st Virginia out of command. And they got a tardy move and just shuffled around a little bit. So there we go. He's got a firing line all across the quote-unquote rifle pits outside of Big Bethel Church up on the hill. The rest of his line is collapsed. His cavalry is preparing to go out with a bang, not a whimper. And we'll go into defensive fire phase, which there might not be a whole lot besides artillery. So most of the Union is disordered and low on ammo after one just firing insanely amounts, and also two charging over the fence line, kind of disordered a lot of them. But this is not going to be the greatest volleys, but the 10th Indiana and one company from the 19th Ohio can fire at the cavalry. The 8th Indiana can fire at these gentlemen. The 9th Indiana can fire at the artillery. And then we're going to get a weird combo here of the 7th Indiana, the 15th Indiana, and Baker Company of the 4th U.S. Artillery, all trying to hit these guys. So, trying to put them out of their misery. So that's what we're going to do. We'll start down at the far right and work our way over. That volley from those units at the Virginian cavalry has no effect at all around, just kind of ricochet all over the place. Get another -2 volley from this Indiana unit straight ahead at these gentlemen here, I believe. No, actually, those guys there. Sorry about that. A volley from the boys on the fence line causes a casualty. These boys are running. I think these guys might have moved. I don't know what they're now, because they only moved about 6 inches. If you move over like half your move for that terrain, you're considered to be about face, and that adds a bonus to shooting at you. So they didn't quite go over half. -4 volley from the Zouaves against the artillery. Actually, -5 with the hard fence. No effect at all, baby. All right, we'll get the combo punch from all these units firing at these the 9th Virginia. I can't remember if I recorded this or not. The 9th Virginia suffered casualties and remains disordered from that volley from those gentlemen. It was a hell of a good volley. Good job. Causes galling fire, disordering the 9th Virginia. Forgot, Pegram was very close to that 11th Tennessee when they got hit with that 10. There's a chance he is hit by that fire. Pegram laughs that crap off. He's ready to fight some still. Just needs some units to get their act together again. Both of his guys are low ammo and disordered, and his other regiment is running past the church on their way back to Yorktown. They're taking some R&R. All right, so Pegram's going to order his 2 guys to fire straight ahead at those Union troops behind the fence. As we slide to the side, the main Confederate line is getting involved, which is awesome. Artillery and 20th Virginia firing into the Zouaves combo action. Over here we get a triple threat as the 1st Georgia, the 37th Virginia, and the 9th Virginia are all going to fire straight ahead into those guys. So it should be some good stuff as we get some double-tiered guns for hire over here. This is going to be awesome. So yeah, -4 blast against those guys after all the disorders, low ammos, and over 12 inches. So that's totally ineffective fire, but you know, what can you expect? The guys, like half the guys don't even have ammunition anymore. They're just kind of, plus they're running away. Now, that's all right. Keep them busy. All right, let's get the big combo action here as we get the 20th Virginia and Baker Company of Lee's Artillery Brigade blasting away. Oh, bummer. It causes lively fire. With the artillery, it would have been disordered, but they were already disordered already, so not a big deal for the Zouaves. They shake that off. And we get the triple threat volley from these 3 regiments all into those gentlemen. Get the Georges firing their first fire of the game. And they go out with a bang, not a whimper. That's pretty awesome with the double-tiered shooting up there. That's what I was kind of hoping to get to at some point. 7th Indiana loses some casualties. They were already disordered. Yeah, so this will be a tough nut to crack. But let's see what the Union can do. Little Mac, he's ready to do some fighting. And that'll get us through 7:30 on to 7:45, heading into turn 4. Kind of at the midway point of the battle, probably. Now we're moving to the next phase, as Union has been able to push away the Confederate primary line with more of a delaying action for the Confederates, and they move on onto the a lot more formidable defenses dug in behind at Big Bethel. Casualties for the Union so far. The Union's lost 900 killed or wounded. The rebels, pretty significant. 2,000, I think 300 gentlemen killed or wounded. Actually more than that with the 2 cavalry units, so probably about 2,500. Nice. All right, pretty brutal compared to the real fight. Let's see what they can do. Little Mac's got to form his next part of his plan as he moves into phase 2 of this operation to advance up the Virginia Peninsula towards Richmond. All right, McClellan, who's still commanding Morris's brigade, is going to start with himself because he needs to move the ammo wagon somewhere over here to resupply as many of his boys as possible. He's got ammunition issues, mostly going to the right, but so we can get it fixed right now. 7th Indiana rallied with Elan, moved forward. 6th Indiana rallied with Elan and moved forward using a right oblique. 13th Indiana did a passage of lines, screamed forward to there. 9th Indiana reloaded ammunition, held still. Those boys would have been screaming with a double move, but they had to go through the swamp, so they slowed down to 12 inches. Sorry about your luck. Alright, we might as well stick out here with your boy Schleich, who's been a game changer since last turn. Let's see what he can do. Schleich does well, gets well-handled maneuvers. The 3rd Ohio gives a mighty yell as they finally get out of the swamp water, hopefully never to return. The poor 6th Ohio, they're still sludging in there. They got the white pants on. They should have worn the brown pants. 14th Indiana just cleared this fence. That's all they were able to do. And the 13th Indiana was our big mover because actually we're in regular terrain, heading back towards the swamp water. They're moving up next to the 7th and 6th Indiana. So that's him done. We'll move over to your boy Rosecrans, see what he can do. He's got a disordered unit that is low on ammo, so they're not going to be able to reload this turn. So the ammo wagon got to there. Probably move to about here next turn so they can resupply both of these regiments with ammunition. And he's really got to get his act back together. Everyone is disordered except for the 10th Indiana. The 8th Indiana, the 19th Ohio, and the 10th Indiana all moved by the right flank. They had the biggest move. Just extending their line to 1, concentrate fire on the cavalry, and 2, deny them the flank. And then these gentlemen from the 17th Ohio did a left oblique to fill in this hole to maintain the continuity with those gentlemen. So Rosecrans got a huge firing line. It extended the Union line to the right. I was debating about doing a deny the flank, but I could accomplish the same thing and get more firepower by sliding everybody down. This also kept these 2 units in close enough proximity, so next turn I can move the ammunition wagon to this point. Hopefully neither one of them is disordered, and resupply with ammunition. Peagram's boys just trying to cause disorder, trying to slow down the Union as best they can, keep them from reloading as well, even though both of these units are disordered and low ammunition themselves. They're firing at 25%. The 13th Ohio is going to fire at this Indiana unit, and the 11th, so these are Tennessee, 13th Tennessee, sorry, and the 11th Tennessee is going to fire at the 17th Ohio. Just trying to put any kind of little doinks on them, really just trying to mess them up. -5 with this volley from the 13th Tennessee straight ahead. Same thing with the 11th Tennessee, another -5 shooting straight ahead into that unit. Both caused no effect at all. These gentlemen are out of range still from the 1st North Carolina, itching to pull the trigger on their muskets. Gonna slide over here. I'm actually gonna check the angles on this. Some of these might be able to fire at this 13th Indiana coming at them. After checking the template, those guys are about, oh man, it was close. It was just several centimeters out of range from being able to fire at those gentlemen. I did not plan that. I am not that tactically smooth, but there you go. All right, we're gonna get a combo action here from Baker Company from Lee's Battery and the 10th Virginia firing straight ahead into the oncoming Zouaves, heading towards the swamp. Not causing any casualties, but disordering the Zouaves as they head towards the swamp. Get this double-decker blast as the Virginians and Georgians combo up on this regiment coming straight at them. Oh no, they choke on it badly. That's horrible. And we'll get a -1 modifier as both of these Virginia regiments, actually a -2, that's disordered up front, as they team up to fire on this oncoming regiment here. Oh, also doing nothing. So not the best round of shooting for the Confederates defending Big Bethel. All right. Oh, here comes the offensive fire phase. Rosecrans' firing line against the snake rail fence. What's left of it open up. We're going to start down here at this end. This Indiana unit with this Ohio unit is going to fire at the Virginia cavalry who are forming up to God do who knows what. Hang on. The volley disorders the already confused and bewildered Virginia cavalry. Just don't know what their mission is out here on the flank. Because I don't even know what the heck I'm doing with them. So, I don't know, man. I want to do a Napoleonic charge. I think I'm going to do it if I ever get a chance. All right, these two regiments are going to combo fire on this regiment here. Oh, all that noise signifying nothing. They're no effect. All right, sliding down. All right, here we go. Since they're firing an elevated target, both Zouave units can fire over the, one can fire over the top of the other one, so they can get a double whammy right back at these guys. They're going to lose some firepower factors just because of this unit's disordered and at over half range, or out of close range, and these guys are out of half range. Everything added together ends up with a -1 modifier. Oh, I forgot the cover. -3 into the hard cover. Ah, no effect. All right, Union's going to try to combo stuff to put serious hurting on the Georgians. They got some peaches in last week and they were really bad, so they're pissed off. So the 6th Indiana, 7th Indiana, 15th Indiana, plus the U.S. Artillery Company are all going to fire on these guys behind the stone wall. This is really the way you cause some damage in this game, is by stacking firepower factors up. They're able to generate 15 points of firepower factors, gets a +4, but they get a -2 because of the stone wall. It'll be a +2 shot. That blast disorders the Georgians, kills a couple of their guys, gets some casualties going on. Oh, it's rough. I don't think anyone else is going to shoot over here. Everybody kind of comboed on the Georgians because they hate them. So that'll end the offensive fire phase for the turn 4. Move over to Confederate turn 4 maneuvers and orders. Start with Lee. Try to get the war wagon out here to Pegram somehow. Yeah, good luck. At least getting close. And yeah, that'll do it. Let's see what Lee can do. He only has 2 of his regiments. He's got them all spread out, plus his artillery in command. The other 2 regiments are out of command, the 2 flanked. No worries there. The Georgians, trying to get over that hate they felt from the Union, they rally with the lawn. All the rest of the Confederate forces get dug in, ready to fight the good fight here. Start out here with the out of command 21st Virginia. They do okay. That's kind of a tardy move, but there's nothing really to worry about because they're, thank the good maker, they're still trained and in good shape. Basically, they can't screw up on this as long as they got a +2, they shouldn't fall back. But we'll roll it anyway for the North Carolina unit. Well, they're going to stay the same. There's no point rolling it. They passed. You can see that here, the out of command. Only the 1 and 2 makes them fall back, but these guys are all, they're all, what's it call it? Fresh troops. They don't have any casualties. So they get an automatic +2. So the least you can get is 3, which is a tardy move. The 1s and 2s are bad. And then, of course, down here is horrible. The rundown boys from Tennessee, they're too close to the damn Ohio unit, so they have to move out of close range with them. They're on this side of the swamp water. Those guys did fine. Oh, they're not like both units are not disordered, but they're still both low on ammunition. Peevler does have his unit that is broken and running here back here by the church. Let's see what they can do. They are broken and spent. This will be a -2 out of command roll. They will panic. They will haul ass off the road. And the 7th Tennessee has left the battlefield, returning back to Yorktown just in a pure panic. So that's 300. Confederates that have basically fled. Peevler also has a unmodified rally roll on his cavalry that's out of command. They panic and break. They had enough go-go juice to get off the board, so the cavalry has ran back to Yorktown as well. Peevler, him and what's his name over to here? Magruder, not doing so well. Oh, terrible. Speaking of Magruder, he's going to see what he can do down here. Both of his boys are in command. One is disordered, hanging on by a thread next to the swamp. Those guys are okay. These guys, unfortunately, have a -2 to that. So equal to -1. They're going to rout, losing 2 stands. They're basically going to be off the table. 9th Virginia, they're not sticking around. They give Magruder the finger and they head for, they're taking off for Yorktown. And that ends a horrific orders phase for the Virginians. Tennessee boys and Georgians and North Carolina, as they have over 1,000 men rout from the battlefield at 7 before even 8 o'clock happens. Oh, they had a tea time in Yorktown. They're gone. Oh, it's not looking good. Magruder's down to 1 dude. Peevler, he's out here by himself. He's got the only troops that are on this side of the Wythe River, or the Wythe Creek, which is more like a swamp, and they're about to get destroyed now that his cavalry's gone. Rosecrans is going to push forward and just wipe them off the battlefield. All right, there we go. Defensive fire phase. They're coming for him. Union cutting loose like they're the boss. We'll start off down here again with that combo punch against that same Georgia unit who they hate. In less than 15 minutes, these Georgians who thought they were safe behind their walls and entrenchments have been killed or wounded. They've lost 300 men as artillery shells and musket balls pound on them from every single direction. Oh, it's not looking good. Both of the Zouave units are going to fire up here at the at Garnett's 20th Virginia, trying to blow Lee's head off. No effect at all. They just totally brick-shaw it. These 3 Indiana units team up and fire on these guys, converging fire style. 13 Tennessee takes casualties, become disordered. They're having a panic attack. Now Peevler, Pegram wants to get out of here. He's freaking out. Everybody is just psychologically scarred of how bloody this battle's becoming as we hit the heavy casualties agendas. That's an extra modifier of goodness for the rest of this attack, however long it may be. That'd be an additional -3 to all Confederate orders from now on. Oh. That finishes the Union defensive fire phase. What's left of the Confederacy? Gonna try to shoot back at them. I don't know what's going. I don't even know what to do. It's getting brutal. Volunteers aren't going down like that. They they're gonna get a -5. They shoot straight ahead, just trying to survive. Lackluster fire from them. Oh God, nothing. Artillery firing canister, blasting away with these gentlemen. Going crazy too, trying to kill these Zouaves as they come on in. +1 to this blast against the boys from Indiana. The Hoosiers, can they do it? The Zouaves remain disordered, take a casualty as those guys are able to combo action them and blow away couple of those guys. McClellan's all about the image, getting concerned with the Ohio paper, with the newspapers up north are going to say now that he's crossed over the 1,000 casualty rate for the Union. He's lost some boys. They're going to come down here and give me some pissed off moms and dads. Georgians are going to join these Virginians and fire straight ahead into these boys from Indiana. They eviscerate some of those Hoosiers, disordering those gents. They're pissed off. They're on the Old Dominion. Get the hell out of here. This is Virginia, baby. They're going to give it up. It's going to be a heavy price for the Union to finish up this, taking this territory. Yeah, baby. The 21st Virginia is going to fire at these gentlemen at long range. Disordering the 15th Indiana, doing their part. All right, and that ends turn 4, going on to the 8 a.m. hour. Can't believe it's only been an hour. No. We've got 1,100 dead or killed and wounded Union troops. They've lost 4 pieces of artillery, and Johnny Reb not doing good at all. 2,500 troopers killed. Oh gosh, 100 cavalry, 4 guns, and they've had 1,100 guys retreat and run from the battlefield. So not your average battle. It's going to get worse and worse from here, baby. I love it. Okay, glad I'm not here. All right, on to the 8 o'clock.
Alright, at 8 a.m., Rosecrans has got the ammunition case on near his 2 regiments that are both low on ammo. He's going to see if he can pass an order. I think nothing's disordered right now, which is amazing for him. Rebels just can't put anything, can't dictate any disorders due to their lack of troops in the field. Alright, here we go. Alright, the 10th and the 9th Indiana both resupply with ammunition. The 19th Ohio crosses the fence with a half move and does a slight wheel to the left, and the 17th Ohio does the exact same thing, kind of outflanking those gentlemen. Next up is Morris with McClellan still attached to him. He's going for I try to cross the swamp water here. Let's see what he can do. McClellan gets serious as the was it the 13th and the 10th Indiana. Well, the 13th was disordered. They got reorganized, moved about a quarter of a move into the swamp with a well-handled maneuver. The 9th Indiana followed up and closed the gap as they enter the basically the stream, White Stream. 6th Indiana reformed into a field column, went across the bridge. They got a good move there, and then the 7th Indiana just kind of matched what the other boys are doing over there as they stumbled into the water and got within point blank range of those gentlemen. Alright, we've got the out of command move of the cavalry here. They need to get involved. Their flanking move is just taking too dang long. They cross over the stream for the last time as the lead unit gets into the woods over here, and they're up next to the 13th Ohio, who haven't been engaged yet either. Alright, let's do our boy Schleith. The 2nd Indiana, is that right? My eyes are blurry. Sorry, 7th Indiana rallies. Sorry, the 15th Indiana rallies and moves straight ahead. So does the 14th Indiana. 6th Ohio, almost out of the swamp, but going back into it. And the 3rd Ohio starts breaking through the woods. They get to fire their muskets for the first time after an hour of non-combat. Final thing is to see if Schleich can command his out-of-command artillery, which will be a +2, and they'll get a -1 for the heavy casualty situation. And they do well enough to continue to shoot, so that'll be the maneuver phase for the Union. Turn 5, let's get into defensive fire. See if the Confederates can push them back from Big Bethel. 13th Tennessee, they already knew they were in trouble. Now they've got 2 troops coming in at close range from different angles. They have to split their fire to shoot at them. I don't even know what. I think I will. I'll have to shoot some this way and some this way. I think the only chance they had of having any kind of damage was rolling a 10. Everything else, is best they could do was a lively fire. I did make a tactical error there where I should have combined that unit on the right with these gentlemen back here, but it wouldn't have made much of a difference, just one stand of fire. So the 11th Tennessee and the 1st North Carolina firing their first volley, firing straight ahead at those gentlemen, trying to disorder and kill. The 7th Ohio doesn't even notice that. Plus they've been through getting blasted all day long. They're still coming. Alright, so that finishes them off. Now we'll get the double whammy of the Baker Company Artillery Battery and the 28th Virginia firing straight ahead into the Zouaves who just entered the swamp water. Front regiment suffers casualties, becomes disordered. The fire is so intense that the trailing regiment also becomes disordered as bullets pass through their ranks. Oh no! Alright, moving down the line. Just don't think they have enough guns to stop the Union, but we're going to fire anyway. 7th Indiana is too close for the 2nd tier gunners to shoot at, so they're going to have to fire over their heads. But we'll go ahead and do the 37th Virginia firing point blank range into them. Oh, they crushed them, causing a casualty and disordering those gentlemen as they stagger in the swamp water. What's left of the 1st Georgia fires -5 volley at these gentlemen outside the moat. Just not enough of the Georgian rifles left to do anything to those gentlemen. No effect. And the 21st Virginia is going to welcome the 3rd Ohio that finally made it to the battle. Over here, sorry. With a nice little volley. Oh, they disable those boys as they start coming out of the trees. So that's not a bad round of shooting. Always could have done more casualties, but definitely slowed down the attack a little bit. Now we do offensive fire phase. These 3 regiments are going to combine fire plus do enfilading fire to the broken down 13th Tennessee. The 13th Virginia is staggered as they stand in place against numerical superiority. 200 of their men are cut down in a blink of an eye. It's horrible. Pegram's crying. He just doesn't want to be here anymore. He feels bad for his boys. It's like Pickett's charge. Where'd your brigade go? They're out there dead, baby. Thanks for the great orders. Oh, they're in trouble. Okay. Sliding down the line. That was horrible. Rosecrans smiling with his one arm. Alright, these 3 Indiana regiments going to combine fire on these gentlemen right here, causing casualties to the 20th Virginia and disordering them. Oh wow. Alright, moving down the line to what's left of the Georgians. And Schleich's entire brigade is going to fire on the 21st Virginia as they try to crack the rebel right here. 22 firepower factors firing into these gentlemen. Oh no! 400 guys disappear into a pink mist in an instant as 4 regiments and an artillery battery unload on these poor souls from the 21st Virginia. Oh, most devastating volley ever. Oh, I don't know what to do with that. The Georgians and Virginians are like, we're in trouble. Lee is freaking out as he's lost over 3,000 men so far, killed or wounded. He's wishing he never came to Big Bethel. He hates this church. All right. This is going to be fun because now that ends the Union turn. Let's go on into the Rebel turn 5. So now we get the massive modifiers now. The -3 on top of every other modifier, just because of the heavy casualties and losing more than the Union. First up's General Pegram. Let's just work through these modifiers for the 13th Tennessee. We know it's a -3. Then they're destroyed, because they're spent, so it's a -5. Yeah, good luck. They're both in command. They're a -5. They're a -4. So the old -2 or less in command. Route. Dunzo. Alright. Yeah, and I think they lose extra ones because it's less than 0. So the entire, what's left of Pegram's 3rd Brigade shatters and runs. Alright, the completely surrounded General Magruder with his last command get hammered from all different directions. Oh, Magruder's boys, they have nowhere to go. They can't climb up the wall with Union troops right in front of them. They surrender. And Magruder, basically, they all throw down their muskets and just surrender in the swamp. Well, the writing's on the wall, but we'll go ahead and finish up with Lee's command. He has the Georgians, the Virginians, and his artillery in command range. His other 2 regiments are out of command. So let's start off in the center here. 20th Virginia, they rally and hold position. The artillery loads. The 1st Georgia begins to step back out of close range. They are able to rally, but they're having second thoughts as these boys are running across the bridge. Go over to North Carolina, 1st North Carolina. It doesn't help that I'm rolling like absolute butt. Oh, they break and run. So 600 more guys run for Yorktown. Lee is getting his sword out, going to snap it in half. And the coup de grace will be the out of command 21st Virginia that just lost 400 gentlemen in 15 minutes. And that just about sums it up as they break and run. They'll run. They'll see them running and take off running. And the rest of Lee's command, including himself, will surrender and be captured. And we're back for the final wrap as General McClellan celebrates his victory on the Virginia Peninsula, clearing the road to Yorktown and onto Richmond. The Union papers, they're loving him. A little bit sad that he lost 1,300 killed or wounded, but not too bad. Final casualty counts for the Confederates were 3,300 men killed or wounded, 1,100 men captured, plus 4 artillery pieces. The Confederates also had 4 guns wrecked by Union artillery, and then 2,600 Confederates fled the battlefield, abandoning General Lee, who will spend the rest of the war in a prison camp. Altering history just slightly. No, Lee will be paroled and sent to West Virginia to fight the Battle of Rich Mountain later this week. All right, well, that was a hell of a good game. I really enjoyed that. I gotta, as I said, be coming back later this week with hot lead and cold steel doing the Battle of Rich Mountain. I'm gonna furiously finish up the Wheat's Tigers to have a final unit for the Confederacy to be in that battle. But yeah, that was fun. Really enjoying this rule system. Thanks to the gentleman that made it. Wow, great system. I know it's been around for a long time too. Everything is new to me because I'm just kind of new to the hobby, and I'm definitely new to ACW gaming. So, but really fun. Loving this time period. Learning a lot too. I knew just enough to not really amount to much about the American Civil War. So reading about these battles and reading about the different campaigns chronologically has been pretty cool. I am going to have to halt after Rich Mountain just because the next battle is a bit of a roadblock for me because it's basically First Manassas or First Bull Run, depending on where you're from in the U.S. or how southern you feel when you're in a different country. So I can't do that at 28 millimeter. We're talking 80 or 90 infantry regiments, not including cavalry and artillery. So that one's gonna have to wait for Warlord Epic, which is cool. I can do that. The Mitchell house did not get burned down this time. These guys come back to their house and are like, yeah, baby. They're just gonna be pulling all the dead bodies out of their field. Most of the bodies are in Wythe Creek, though. That was horrific. But yeah, the entire field is going to be littered with 4,600 killed or wounded. That's a lot of dudes for a battle. Originally, we're only probably 20 guys got hurt, and only one guy from the south, a North Carolina gentleman. But that's it. Phenomenal, loving it. Have a great week. You guys are fantastic. I hope you enjoy this. Do the usual YouTube things, and we'll see you very soon. So take care now. Bye.